one of the things I hate about what's happening in terms of these social control mechanisms is that they're being used to contain the justified frustration of a class of Americans who feel cut out of the deal. And, whether you want to call them right wing or misinformation specialists or, stooges for Putin's active measures or whatever, what they really are is this guy in the egg.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to feel trapped. They start to feel like they've got a different deal. They look at the people that you wrote about on Wall Street. This has been going on in America for, a long time.
Oh, yeah.
It's what gave us William Jennings Bryan,
exactly.
The precursor to Trump, really.
Cross of gold,
Yeah. And so when I watch the American establishment, the haves, the people at the top, the people who have with these big media contracts, the financiers and so on, playing their tricks and preparing to basically in advance stop the uprising of this group and frustrate its legitimate political expression. Because through Trump, they have tried to at least legitimately inside the process make their feelings known. And the reward has been to be put on watch lists. I want to say to whoever's running this, first of all, you're cruel. Second of all, you are playing a game that can only end with more and more repressive measures. But third of all, have some fucking pity or sympathy on your actual countrymen, rather than, the Democratic Party, which was traditionally the vehicle for people to kind of move up from the lower echelons of American life, whether they're an immigrant or a farmer or a poor farmer or whatever. Like you now represent lawyers and tech companies and everything else.
Yeah, pharmaceutical executives. Mm-hmm.
Right. And your former constituency is kind of politically homeless and looking for a tribune. And what is your answer? Call them names and make them terrorists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or allies of Putin, that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, think of what they did to Bernie. Bernie should have been the leader of people like this, I think. I mean, he's actually the kind of person who listens, cares about what people like this live through. He grew up poor himself, or in an urban setting, but still, they do things absolutely wrong. And I mean, I remember at Occupy Wall Street when all these people showed up, and it wasn't exactly the crowd that later went to Trump, but there were a few people who had been screwed over, people who worked, regular jobs, and they were pissed about this stuff. And rather than, everybody on Wall Street, first they all bought guns, which was funny because they're all anti-gun activists before that. And then after that, they got the cops to clear these people out. Rather than do what they should have done, which is say, look, it's not, we're arch capitalists. That's supposed to be our mantra. And, we're surviving and thriving on government handouts that we deny to those people down there. We got bailed out with Fed and taxpayer money. And let's, like you say, have some shame, at least recognize what's going on in the minds of people who are mad at you. And they don't do that. And that's why we're in this place where it's inevitable. There's going to be a clash between these.
But only one side in this clash, Matt, is going to have the tools that you and I talk about.
Right.
Only one side is going to be able to get its emails read by the presidents and vice presidents of Facebook and so on, and Google. Only one side is going to be able to groom and engineer and shape the information landscape. The other side may not even have the ability to gather physically. It's unclear. But where they think this is all going to end, I have no idea. They seem to be anticipating, frankly, violence that they're going to frame as, politically abhorrent. and then crack down on with the permission and even the applause of
the
upper classes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 I mean, and that just to be candid, that's what I expect in America and fear in America is there's going to be a class war construed as some sort of, anti-whatever terrorist thing. And it will be exactly as it is in 1984, where anybody who's at all dissatisfied or even keeping a notebook from day to day of what's happening and isn't completely subscribing to the latest, pronouncement from the government is going to be put on the bad list, and the people who are more invested in the system are going to cheer as they are mowed down in some way or taken out or marginally silenced, debanked, whatever. In a weird way, that's my motive for doing this show, so that doesn't happen in the way it might.
Yeah.